Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is a remake of game number 2. Unfortunately, for those just tuning in, the servers did crash in game 2. Valve is unable to provide us with a save game, so we won't be able to go load that save game. Instead, we have a remake, and both teams have agreed to a fresh draft. They both agreed to it, so for anyone who felt one team or another had the advantage, no big deal from the team's perspective. They're fine with a fresh remake, so that means new bans, new picks, and all the lanes will be up in the air. I am LD of DotaCommentaries.com. Joining me is the one and only Luminous. And well, Luminous, we've had ourselves a bit of a break, but it is still DK leading the series 1-0, looking to close this out with a clean 2-game sweep, while IG just want to push it to a game 3. And again, we're seeing a very similar draft. Invoker gets the ban right away. Will Anti-Mage be the reply?
We're not going to see any like in first picks, as both of the game happened today so far had like in first picks, which, again, as strong as that hero is, he's not really winning games, but apparently still deserving of bans and first picks. It is going to be banned up this game. The anti-mage, like you mentioned, still within the pool, although, well, we'll see if Bernie picks up for himself. He's also very, very good with that hero. But for now, there's, of course, all these powerful heroes within the pool, but I feel like both teams are so capable of playing against Prophets or Listrax that they're not really too afraid of it anymore.
Right.
At least they shouldn't be at this point.
It's also those two tanky initiators, aggressive heroes, in the Chaos Knight as well as the Panda, and on top of that, the Night Stalker we saw last game. YYF, when that game actually crashed, I think he was 6-2 and 3, and it felt like even more than that. There were a lot of kills that he narrowly missed, just constant pressure from him on the enemy team, especially in that second night. There was a big fight where IG had been behind for most of the game. They really turned things around, and I wouldn't say they were leading at that point. DK still had the gold and experience lead, but they were certainly making the game interesting and holding their own. So it was a pretty even game. So I think it's it's reasonable to have a remake. No team had a clear advantage, and well, IG is really. Oh, they skipped their ban. Okay, no, it was an anti-mage ban right as my eyes look towards the time, and then it's an immediate profit pick. But the Chaos Knight, the Night Stalker, Windrunner, Queen of Pain, Leshrac, so many strong heroes left in the pool. What do you expect to see out of IG here?
Well, Night Stalker can be picked up if we see things like Queen of Pain and blinkers be added in multiple numbers. But I'm glad you brought up the Night Stalker point, because during the first night, both of us were like, yeah, this Night Stalker's not doing too much. He has a decent score, but he's just not contributing too much. And then the second night, he just came out with the guns blazing. So what I learned from that is we should never really count out even player who is not doing well for the first portion of the game. It could always turn around. So let's see if that's going to be happening at this point in the game. But it's going to be a Chen. It's going to be a Brewmaster. So take it for what you want. But the offense, the defense, it's all here. Especially with that Brewmaster, a great carry disabler in multiple ways, and a great teamfight specialist as well. I'm liking the draft for IG so far.
Well, Chen is a hero. I think he's been banned in the first 6, both games. I could be wrong about that. I'm counting Game 1 as well as the remake. But either way, we haven't seen him just yet. So this is definitely something a little bit different. Gives us a fresh take on Game 2. And, well, one thing to consider here, for DK, for both teams, when they've run the Prophet, it's been in the off lane in both of these games. And, well, one of Prophet's weaknesses, he's a strong pusher in his own right. But until he hits level 6, he can't do a whole lot to stop it. And Chen could fill a very similar role to the Lycan, maybe even a bit earlier arriving at that lane, looking to pressure the Prophet, force some TPs, go for a smoke gank, backstab, and try and get a kill. Whatever the Chen wants to do, IG have their options as far as early game pressure go. And for DK, we'll have to see. Are they going to go for that late game hard carry for burning? Will they try and go for something a little bit more aggressive? Well, for the moment, they're deliberating that one as well.
Like that, you brought up the point that Nature's Prophet usually put on the long lane. Most teams like, yeah, he could do that pull with the treants. It's very cute and very cheesy. You get that creep wave in front of tower at quick level 2, and everything rolls from there. But I think teams are adjusting to that strategy as well. We see teams sending multiple heroes to either kill those treants or delay that push or delay that pull. In the first game, I think we saw the treant try to attempt to pull, and then the enemy hero pulls the enemy creeps, and then it's gonna be a mess up creep equilibrium in the jungle. It works in theory, it does work, but in practice, it doesn't work as often as you want it to.
It was quite awkward, I have to say. Those creeps were in a very odd spot. He got the levels, but again, this is a situation where if you get that push going early, It's not really enough for Prophet to be
5
level 2
seconds
or even 3.
remaining.
He needs 6, so he has that ultimate to try
Tinker.
and slow down the push.
Reserve time.
DK, the global strategy appears to be forming up here. Prophet and Tinker
Dire
picked
team
up.
pick.
We saw it was IG running the Tinker last time around, and well, on that Dire side, he was trying to stack up the Ancients. For DK, a lot of heroes that do some good damage, but absolutely no lockdown so far for that Brewmaster. 0 disables of any kind. No silence, no stun. And they're going to have to pick up a few with their last 2. Otherwise, that Brewmaster ult is just going to run train on them.
Yeah, I was extremely worried about the lack of stuns against a Lycan
10
and a
seconds
Brewmaster,
remaining.
but you know the fifth pick Void always answers back, so I'm not going to question
Templar
Burning anymore as he
Assassin.
has been delivering
Ooh.
up. Templar Assassin
Radiant
being picked
team
up here
down.
for the third pick. Now, I think Venomancer was picked up as a support,
Okay.
but might move up to a semi-carry immediately, facing a Templar Assassin down in the mid lane, should DK want to do that.
Yeah, let me just say, we saw this exact matchup. DK up against Sexy Bamboo's Templar Assassin in Game 2 of that series. In Game 1, Sexy Bamboo got absolutely out of control. It was Sexy Bamboo gone wild, and the GG was called very early from DK, but they responded in Game 2. Mouse went for the Templar Assassin again, and what does DK do? They pick up a Venomancer, and they send it 1v1 solo
10
mid,
seconds
and Templar
remaining.
Assassin never had a chance. It was one of the very few matchups where TA can't farm, can't really get levels either, and in
Dire
fact,
team
Super was
down.
solo killing him, I think around the 3 or 4 minute mark, and from there, it was all DK all the way. So, like you said, this might necessitate an upgrade from the Venomancer from that support to a solo hero. That's going to put a little bit more pressure on these last 2 picks. But I mean, Venomancer is very strong against TA, so it's interesting that IG would pick into it when they've already seen a Venomancer on the board.
Yeah, perhaps they're double mind gaming it up. I have no idea why they believe Templar Assassin would be a good pick. But I mean, look at the flip side, right? Let's
Right.
assume for a second that Templar Assassin doesn't get annihilated in the lane. Look at these heroes. Traps are just gonna
5
murder
seconds
these guys.
remaining.
Force Staff is gonna be answered, but we're not gonna see it for a long, long time.
Radiant
And you can see that right now.
team
IG Zo just protecting that Templar Assassin. He believes that Venomancer will be placed as support, so he's banning other solo mids that TA might have a little bit difficult time, including that Rider. The turn rate slowdown is no big deal. It's a pretty big deal. Refraction charges getting burned by Firefly is a big deal. So, at least right now, IG Zo does not believe Venomancer is going mid, and if he doesn't believe it, maybe he's right. We'll see.
Here's the other thing. I mean, that's normally where we see TA is in that mid position, but if you want to put her as the farmer up top, maybe send the Panda mid, perhaps with a Shadow Demon as support, something like that. It's not like TA has to go mid. That's just where we see her played. She's a very strong mid, but if you think it's a Venom mid, that's fine. Don't put her there. So it's not like IG, they have no way to lane her except for the mid lane. So that's another consideration. Either way, Morphle gets the ban here, even with Tinker and Prophet already picked up for DK, and the possibility of Veno being a solo. IG are not even going to give Bernie a chance. No anti-mage here, no Morphling. Like you said, that Void is in the pool. So we'll have to see if he wants to go towards that. Other notable heroes in the pool, Enigma is a big one. Lone Shard got the ban, but Windrunner's still there as well. And in fact, Queen of Pain too. She's been available in both games, and I believe picked in both. So we'll see which direction these teams want to
10
go.
seconds remaining.
Also, the viewers at home, we shouldn't forget that Prophet can be placed as support. We do see some teams do so, and now Shadow Demon picks up.
Dire
So
team
this
pick.
most likely means Venomancer is going to be on support. But again, it's hard to say. Again, Prophet can be played as a support role. We've seen things goes like pull into mech, pull into earn. That kind of is okay. We'll see. DK Burning's hero is still not picked up just yet. Always
There's
like to pick the last for himself. There's
Radiant
Enigma,
team pick.
which is not too surprising in any me.
Well, we saw. What was it we saw in the last game? Enigma, Brewmaster, and Lycan. And Broodmother. Well, we'll talk about this in one sec. But I want to say for IG, last time around, Lumi, you and I, we saw Enigma, we saw Panda on one team, and then Lycan on top of it. A hero who, can sometimes struggle to stay locked onto heroes. TA, sort of similar, in the sense that, yes, she chases well, but she doesn't have a true stun. She has relatively short range, and sometimes she can have trouble finding those heroes. DK's lineup, not so much, but with the lockdown that these two provide, this is going to create potential for TA to do absolute work
10
in team
seconds
fights,
remaining.
especially splashing through the heroes and trapped in the black hole. But for DK, it
5
looks like it will be that
seconds
sort of
remaining.
split push. Broodmother pressuring one lane, Tinker another, and Prophet a third, ideally.
Reserve time.
They are very lacking in disables, though. Just a disruption on this team. I'm a little concerned
there's a Gale.
about that.
There's a Gale. There's a Purge. there's possibility of double hex buyers,
Right.
but yeah, naturally it's really lacking in disable.
How do you stop a TP? If IG get ganked, or they just TP out? How do you stop that right now? It's only disruption that can do it.
You know, you're asking me these questions, and I wish I have some answers. How do you stop the Brewmaster? Oh, you
It's
don't.
The burst damage. I guess that's the only hope for DK here. And probably avoiding those fights until they get their items up.
The thing is, you can't really avoid the fight. IG will take the fight to you. It's a Venge, it's a Chen. They will just push towers. Zoe, by the way, is going to be on the Enigma. Wow. This is something that we don't see quite often. YYF playing that Brewmaster. Faith on the Venge of Spirit Tron on the Chen, and we have 430 Ferrari going mid.
And he's going mid as TA, and if his TA is anything like his Invoker, DK should be quaking in their boots. Burning will be the one playing the Tinker, so that is his hero. We thought maybe his hero not been picked up yet. Super looks like he will be going solo mid on this Veno.
Yep.
And Bottle Rush will be the name of the game for him most likely. Zippo on the hard support. Wards picked up. Long DD. A couple of clarities for him playing that Prophet. And finally RTK in the off lane. So it looks like it will be, looks to be a jungle Prophet here for DK. And we'll have to see if he can farm safely, because IG have a lot of heroes that can roam early, play aggressively in that jungle, and they're posturing like they want to play some offense here in the first few minutes of this game. But actually they're going to back off.
Yeah, support Prophet as expected. We don't actually see... he bought a lot of GG branches. I assume he bought the Toad as well. The Toad courier is just...
That's a nice
one of the cutest courier. It's really cute. It's really nice. My question is, what the exact skill build for Venomancer is? Now, we've been mentioning for the viewers at home who is not really familiar with the matchup. The reason that Super's Venomancer is going to be really good against Templar Assassins is because Templar Assassin depends on those refraction charges. And a AOE, or excuse me, a damage over time spell like the Poison
Burning!
Sting
Oh, burning! Oh no, burning! Magic missile clap. And immediately the first blood goes away of IG. Not the start DK was hoping for. Sorry, Lumi, you were saying, as far as the skill build of Venomancer goes.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one he's going to pick up. By the way, good job for catching that kill, because I was totally missing that one.
Whoa!
But are they not?
They're going for the early tower here. Okay, we have seen this before. It's something we've seen a decent amount of. It seems like Dare like to do this. The quad lane early on, knock down a quick tower, and then we'll have to see where the transition comes. I think we've seen it from an Asian team. Maybe it was MU. You know what? It was MUFC. MUFC did the same thing, and they took a page out of Orange's book doing that. What can DK do right now? Does Tinker have March? He does. So if he could find the opportunity to drop a March, that would help. But he just can't even get in range right now. This is going to be a very early tower, and I'm not sure what DK's response should be at this point. Do you go push another lane?
That tornado you just wait for them to leave. I don't think it's just smart to transition. But Venomancer though, look in the mid lane though. I think he is just trying to push for as much as he can. I don't like the fact that he actually put into Poison Sting, because Poison Sting is not doing too much aside from staying creeps. Perhaps wards would be a little better. And you're right, they are just going to transition right into pushing another lane. Yeah. Trade a tier 1 for a tier 1.
I think this is the right response. If you just wait bottom and you don't get a trade, when are you going to get it? Because with those 2 early towers down, Chen living in your jungle, probably YYF aggressively farming in the lane, and Joe could do the same thing as well. So I think this is the right trade, because if you don't do it now, will you be able to get it later? I'm not sure you will. The tower's taking a lot of damage mid, so DK, they're probably going to be 1 tower behind at the rate things are going. But that's not the worst trade in the world by any means. And I guess the one lane where we're actually seeing levels is Ferrari versus RTK up top. Pretty even matchup so far. It looks like Broodmother 3-3, Ferrari 4-6, having a bit of a better time with those spider lanes.
Tier 1's gonna go down for the mid lane here. No one lasts that one. Seems like DK wants to keep on continuing. Still no ward being picked up. Poison Sting is gonna be his build. Well, alright. I mean,
they're going high ground, I think. Or maybe not.
I don't think they can. They'll try, but they really cannot go high ground. It's just gonna be too tough. The minus 25% a miss chance, and the fact that they could respawn so very easily. You have a long escape path down to your base. If they can, it just won't be the smartest choice, and you can see IG backing up immediately.
Okay, so they're not going to get a tier 2 mid. They get 1 tower, they're down 1 at this point, and who's farming the bottom lane? It's Burning. This is a hero who's very gankable early on. But that being said, 600 gold in the bank, maybe Boots instead of the Soul Ring first would be the better choice here. We'll have to see, but I like this play by IG. They get the 2 quick towers, and they're not going to force it. They're not going to try to go high ground. We've seen teams stumble at that point, where they go for the aggressive 4-man, 5-man push, and then they just never stop. And once one fight goes bad, the enemy team is so far ahead in levels that you never catch up. But IG, they claim 2 towers, now they want to back off, get some farm up in the enemy jungle. Chuan as well as Joe dual farming that. Level 2 already picked up on Joe. Level 3 about to be claimed on Chuan. In fact, they're both about to hit level 3. And in comes DK. They want to engage this. Maybe looking for the backstab here, but they're going to run into a Centaur. And that, a 3-man stop. Clutch play. And everybody should escape, including Faith as well.
Well, DK stopped blocking Super. Super had a haste rune, but everybody was blocking Hal. Can we get a Gale? Yep, that's a Gale on Zoe. Zoe is going to just fight his way out, or attempt to do so. He knows he's not going to survive, so he does. And meanwhile, looks like Soul Catcher is going to be missing on Chuan. Right click coming in against him as well. Do we have enough Sprout? No Sprout even skilled up just yet. 2 points into his trees instead. Pretty good recovery from DK for the most part. Super getting as many levels as he can, finally puts a point into his wards. The double stain build is what you want to do against a Templar Assassin, but he's not even in the same lane, so I'm not too sure whether that build is actually correct.
Right, I believe you need the second point to actually make the auto attacks proc refraction, because otherwise they don't cross that damage threshold, which I believe is 10, right? So that's why we see the second point. But like you said, he's not laning against her, so I'm not sure how much this offers now. Maybe it'll help later. Magic Missile. Faith, gonna go for the body block. Great body block from him. Centaur stop. Canceled. No, he used it, and it's actually not gonna hit. There's a Gale on 3. But in comes YYF. Will he find the cutoff here? He's getting close. The clap. Magic Missile. Clap. And Long DD is just ignoring it. Farming right next door. But he's not going to be the follow-up. Instead, IG are going to group up and go mid for another tower. Oh,
Long DD tried his best. He even sent a tree into trying to path block, but I mean, he realized his hero can't do too much. And suddenly, IG is pushing Siege Unit conveniently right there. 6 Eidolons, no Chen creeps, but still, man, a lot of damage on that tower. And now the wards, you can see that it's dropped right on the high ground. Chen creep gets stolen, and tier 1 goes down. I think they're gonna go for tier 2 at the very least, and IG is just accruing so much gold. I think IG says, man, let's make up for some lost ground. We have a best of 3 series against MBFC later on. Let's just go for some big push.
Lane. Ferrari takes a fall to RTK solo. Now, keep in mind, this is not a great matchup for Templar either, because the Spiderlings will eat through Refraction very quickly, and Broodmother is not, it's not like you can see her and chase her. Oh, Disruption, Super dropping low, there's your Test of Faith, Malefice going through, it's only a level 1, it's only 1 stun on that Malefice. YYF sprouted in place, held back, Demonic, looks like the Soul Catcher as well. Will he actually go down? No, just a bit too tanky. Early Arcane Boots, great choice to sustain this push, but here comes the push top, and ROTK, with that early kill in Ferrari, can look to continue the aggression. Although he's still the same level, and I guess Ferrari's just last hitting really well, 25 and 10. So keeping the pace even after giving up a 1v1 kill.
Yeah, he's definitely keeping up the pace, although ROTK's farm is really insane. Dust is going to be used. He's going for the kill. Trap on cooldown right now for a couple more seconds. Mel hits on ROTK, and looks like the slow from the trap is a little bit over. So, yeah, 430 went for it. I think he wanted to have
super. Faith gets sent back to base. Barely survives there. The chase not over just yet. Burning as well as Zippo. Kind of caught out here, ushered back by the Wildkin. That's going to be the end for the moment, and Long DD is going for a Midas, even in the face of this early pressure. So DK, they want to try and turtle this one up, hold on to what towers they have, and get to the mid game without losing too many more. The clock is ticking on the part of IG with these early towers, the early gold advantage, which is quite significant. 4,000, only 1,000 experience lead, but even there they're leading too. I'm not sure how long DK can hold down, but they're certainly going to try, and with Tinker, as well as Venomancer and Prophet, if you can get the levels up, you can turtle for quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm actually not too scared for DK. You know that you have to at least put 1 hero in Broodmother's lane, so your push is not going to be as strong as, you know, it's ever going to be. And also, you have March, you have Wrath of Nature once he hits the level. Midas is not that bad in this case as well, because it, you know, kills a Chen creep at the very least. So I'm not afraid for DK at all. I feel like once they weather the storm, they should stabilize. Now, the thing is, with the gold advantage going towards IG, what are they going to bring to the table? It's going to be a quick teamfight item, it's going to be a quick uphill item, and it looks like we are getting ready to go for a kill on ROTK, and Faith is gonna get trapped. Magic Missile, the meld. And will that be enough? Gale does hit on 2. RTK wants to turn around fight. It won't be enough. Meanwhile, Lone DD comes in. It's gonna be a Sprout on 430 there. No, the meld comes in. And now the Spiralings can't do anything. Refraction gets popped. Lone DD's gonna be fine. Is Urn gonna be enough? I don't think so. Meanwhile, the rocket from afar. Faith, just a couple more hits. And the poison staying slow, as well as the damage. Doing the job. Both teams ganking and counter ganking extremely effectively.
Whoa. And here we see Lumi, an 8-minute Blink Dagger on YYF, and a Haste Rune, and the ultimate is up. By the way, level 4 Clap, not going for that level 3 Clap stats build this time around. With the Blink Arcade, oh man, I fear for DK's safety here. They have no answer for this Blink in, except avoiding it, which is going to be tough, because they're behind in gold. Really, we don't see any wards on the map, and it's not that the supports don't want to place them down. They just don't really have the money to buy them right now. Look at Zippo, just got his boots, he's broke. Super, Headdress, he could buy the wards, but he's not really playing a hard support here. Long DD wants the Midas. Either way, IG gonna pressure this top lane. And I'm not sure DK can take a fight here.
I mean, okay, you probably would never hear me say this again, but is wards that important?
Well, not if IG want to push like this.
Right. IG is looking towards the push. Their team is based around pushing. I mean, Ferrari might get off a couple of ganks, but for the most part, they want towers. So wards perhaps not the most important thing. 6 wards being dropped down here. Plague Ward, excuse me.
But they're only level 2.
Tower, but they get clear up very quickly. The traps, the sentry wards being dropped down, and seeing that RTK says, well, goodbye Tier 1 tower. Nice knowing you.
Well, what? I don't see what's going to stop IG. I mean, you get this. Maybe they won't go high ground, but knocking down this many outer towers this early, even a hero like Broodmother can easily be caught out and ganked. There's the loss of map control for DK is massive. Still, they're going to try and slow the push down. Again, the fact that these are level 2 wards is really hurting them. Level 3 wards are a huge improvement. That's when they start to become obnoxious. March finally comes out, and the split push happens on the middle lane. Long DD doing what he can, which is to say, not a whole lot just yet. I mean, he's doing something. He's doing something, but he's not killing the tower. Well, he's not
killing the tower, but he's gonna force one TP eventually. There you go. The TP happens right now, and that means the concentrated push on the top lane is, you know, stymied. That was a very key point for it to slow down the push as well, because Tinker, by the way, did not even have his rearm. Generally, when you see a March rocket build like this, especially with the Soul Ring Rush, you put that rearm at 6 because you need that rearm to massively increase your farm rate or defense rate by spamming that March machine. Burning doesn't have it, so they kind of dodge a big bullet. I felt that if Dire wanted that tier 2 top, they could have just muscled their way for it.
Well, Bernie is close to Boots of Travel. I gotta say, great farm from him. He gives up the first blood, 38 CS, which normally wouldn't be impressive, but in this game is very much so, and he's getting close to the Boots of Travel. That will really help a lot versus IG, but my concern is with an early blink up on the Panda, as well as just the loss of map control, he could still be caught out, so he's got to be careful about where he goes to farm once the Boots of Travel are in line, and, well, Super's doing some jungling now. Really needs that level 7 for at least 3 points in the wards, and it looks like he should be able to get it before the push really kicks in. IG won a few more items. By the way, Joe has 2,300 gold. If he wants the mech or the Blink Dagger, he pretty much has it right now.
Which one would you actually go for?
It depends how you want to play it, right? If they want to go for the pushes, then the mech obviously the better choice. I don't think they need a double blink though. With Panda able to blink it first, I feel Enigma can just kind of waltz in and find the opening that way. But it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. The mech offers you more versatility, whether if you want to go for a Roshan or even dive up a hill or go for the low slash.
They already have one on Chuan. Okay, maybe it will be a blink then. Or maybe even a pipe.
Oh, wow. No, I actually just clicked on Chuan right now, and he didn't have it. And then you mentioned he did mysteriously, you know, pick it right up, so he just must have gotten it right now. And yeah, it's going to be a blink build on Zoe, although as I say that, he hasn't spent any of his gold yet. Perhaps it might be a pipe. That would have been out of question either.
Yeah, you know, it's so many options for him. The point is he is filthy rich. And IG go for Roshan. What is the trade-off for DK? Just some farming in their jungle. Pressure from RTK, but no tower just yet. And well, Roshan's going to take a fall. That goes on a Ferrari. Immediate smoke. I love this from IG. Continuing to keep the pressure up. IG do enjoy their smoke ganks quite a bit. Maybe you could even call them the complexity of the East, although they tend to use them a little bit more early and frequently. And here they go towards the top lane, thinking towards RTK. Oh, they're running up high ground. Ward is dropped. And they're actually just going to avoid being spotted by DK here. They get up the high ground safely. Joe, 3K gold in the bank, still has not spent it.
Could be Necrobook as well.
Oh yeah, that would be a great choice too. And RTK is beating a hasty retreat. The trap not going to be used in time. I even think YYF could have blinked in there, but they're not going to go for that. It's very indecisive play here from IG.
Yeah, they're just picking their fights. You know, they have a Black Hole, they have a Brewmaster, but once you whiff those spells, you have to wait for basically an 150 seconds to make it work. It is going to be a Necrobook on Zoe to really give an oomph in that push. Of course, Necrobook, once you max it to level 3, will give you the True Sight, which is necessary against the Brewmother. Marcher Machine will actually do a lot of AoE damage, so the blue one might pop and do quite a bit number against the Tinker. So it's overall a very, very strong item, though. But for now, IG taking their sweet time, and to be honest, I think DK is having a good chance of, you know, getting some ground back. They're having a really, really rough time at the moment, but they're given room to farm. And that's always scary for Burning.
It is. Boots of Travel up on Burning, 700 gold in the bag, but here's something that might put an end to that. It's this gem in Faith's inventory. I mean, we often see Chinese teams, when they're ahead, they love to go for that gem, just to maintain map control. I mean, you mentioned being able to spot Broodmother out. Necro will help with that. Gem will be a full solution as long as Faith is alive, but this is much more about getting these wards off the map. And then, where did DK really go? If they lose these tier 2s mid and top, they're pretty screwed. So they really have to hold on to those. And it's going to be tough to do that when they're playing in the dark.
It's a very bold play to buy the gem, especially when you have a Templar Assassin. It could be a double-edged sword. They could, you know, if they win a team fight, take your gem, they suddenly, with that 30 seconds, 40 seconds, go counter your wards. And, you know, it could all go wrong. I'm hoping to see that they put, as we see, a little bit of engagement. Lone DD! Woo! Try to TP out, but unfortunately they meld minus armor, allow the last hits to be getting the kill, and I think they're going to go for a tier 2 right now. Hopefully they put the gem on Chuan, because that Vengeful Spirit most likely will be swapping defensively or offensively. You don't want him to lose the gem, because he is going to be throwing his body for his team out
Big dive onto Zippo, and look at him just melt the double damage picked up by Ferrari. Tower goes down. March is taking Chuan very low. Mech already used. He may be forced to use the Hand of God. No, there comes the Urn from bench. Still has one more charge. Should be able to get most of the team healthy. But the March and the Sheep Spam, as well as these Plague Wards, it's going to make life difficult. And like you said, RTK, applying that pressure, forces the TP back. And without YYF, IG is not going to risk it. Obviously, it would be very silly to have a Panda with a Blink Dagger and the ult, and then try to push without him. So they back off, but that's what RTK wanted to accomplish. Successful defense overall. They do lose the tier 2. That's not really what DK won, but it could have been a lot worse.
You know, they back off right now, but I think the Radiant says, okay, we'll group up here on top instead, and we'll push this tier 2, the last tier 2 on the map. Even though that they successfully drew IG back, what are they actually getting, though? Are they getting any decent farm time? Do you see Tinker just working on this Ancient Camp? The Trap is just scouting him out. Yellow's getting some key farm in the bot, but Lone DD's going to get key farm no matter what. I'm just... like, what is DK farming for?
Here's the thing. I mean, regardless of what they're farming for, the other concern for me is I feel like they can't spend their gold because they need to have buyback. Oh, Zippo caught out by Ferrari. Disruption. In come the Centaurs. One stop to start it, and Zippo is dead. I mean, but that's another concern here. You have so little map control. Your defenses are almost gone. You have to have buyback, even if it's only 20 seconds. Before you respawn. That might be all the time in the world for IG to get wrecked.
Lift is going to get forced out on the top lane. Here comes the Gale as well. Finally, the wards are maxed for Super.
RTK wanted the Courier. He's going to pay for it, though, with that gem pickup from Faith. A Courier for a Broodmother. I think it's a good trade overall for the Brood. I
think it's actually a good trade, yeah.
They need gold.
Meanwhile, if Lone DD dies here, it's not a good trade. There's a Blink Mail, and look at that, just 3 hits. Ferrari is just having this map blown apart, and I guess you just have to throw a Venomancer against him. Broodmother is just not going to be enough to keep him down. I mean, Broodmother even got a kill against her, but that's not enough. Now, it's probably unfair to say this because, you know, IG Ferrari has the biggest goal lead ever because of all the tower push down.
He's really far ahead.
Right.
But I mean, I agree. I think Venomancer is a better counter in lane, more of a direct counter. It shuts her down harder, especially because there's a ranged hero. Veno's just a great harasser, whereas for Brood, you harass well once you get your items up, but by that point, Ferrari has some levels. Veno can get it going even from level 1. I think he's better in lane, but the thing is you can't put Veno in that off lane. You have no idea what IG's going to do. I guess they could have made the adjustment, But even then, it's the tower gold, like you said. That's really the biggest thing. Super gets caught out, he will go down. And this is that lack of map control. No mid-tower. IG are just wherever the hell they want to gank, whether it's here, down in the jungle, Centaurs roaming around. I mean, just crisscrossing the map constantly. The gem, yeah, completely controlling the map.
They're seeing a ward here, but they decide not to counter it. Come on. Oh, no, it times out. All right, fine, fair enough. And here we go on the top lane. ROTK is going to get Malefist up. The Vengeful Spirit, the TA, they're making a dive for him. ROTK will be fine in front of his tower. Right now, IG is looking forward to breach on the high ground. No, YYF TP's back on the bot lane to make sure they defend that one. So at the very least, Radiant is really slowing down this, inevitable doom. I want to call it like that because whenever IG wants to go up the high ground, I really think they can.
Well, the thing is, IG, it's sort of like maybe IG is just waiting for their second wind. If you're a person who runs a lot, then you probably can sort of understand that reference. You get tired, and then if you run long enough, you catch that second wind. You get a lot more energy. But for the moment, I mean, DK are holding on. They stall. They have this global split push with long DD, with the Tinker, the Broodmother to some degree. Although it seems like RTK has to be very cautious about leaving the base. And I mean, look at him right now. He's not going to show the hero. Only the Spider Lane's pushing the lane out. He's terrified of these ganks, and it's the lack of wards that's causing it. But the longer this goes on, I mean, the more it falls back into equilibrium for DK, as they're going to find some farm, unless IG continue to get kills, or maybe even knock down a tier 3. Aegis is not alive for too much longer. I'm not sure if IG are going to force something before it's up, but maybe they will. What do you do if you're IG? Nope. Do you have to end this soon, or are you okay just getting that aggressive farm in the enemy jungle? I'll try to trade for now.
I think you do want to end it in the next 10 minutes, max. I think right now they're saving for things like Necrobooks. Panda's getting another one. Of course, you want to upgrade those Necrobooks as well. Normally, I would say you want to end it right now, but they're actually getting a lot of ganks off, so they're keeping everybody's farm rate a little bit down. So IG's, doing pretty well. But you're up against a Tinker, you're up against a Prophet. There's going to be a point in the stage of the game that you are just going to get flat out pushed. You don't want that, especially if you're IG. You want to just kind of go storm up the high ground. They have a Blink Panda. Like, high ground can be easily breached. They have a Venge.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not really sure.
They have a Desolator on their Templar Assassin. 20 minutes in, Ferrari's gold per minute, 470. Oh my goodness.
I think perhaps they're waiting for the next Aegis. But even that was 2.5 minutes away, so not sure.
I mean, if we look towards the gold graph, they are out farming DK, and slowly it's growing, but it's not growing with nearly the rate it was initially. So from that, there's two ways to look at it. One is, they're getting more gold overall, but the other way is, well, the ratio between the two teams' total gold earned is slowly decreasing, which, I would say overall favors DK. But maybe not as much as you might think. And IG, with that early gem, it's Ward Wars, but they're winning. The gem, as well as just the map control positioning, favoring them. So what did DK do? They start pushing top. Anything to try and delay this push. Desperately, they push top. IG grouping up towards the mid lane, looking to apply that pressure. But for the moment, they're not actually going in. They're trying to find their opening, and so far they haven't found one they like.
Well, perhaps this opening is going to happen on the bot lane. Unfortunately, 430 won't have his Desolator for this fight as it's flying in from the courier. Marching Machine is, and of course Poison Stacks are coming on as well. So far it's a pretty defense. I want to point out that Shadow Demon's skill build has been adjusted. Instead of maxing Soul Catcher, it's putting more points to his Shadow Poison. A great adjustment, I may add. Meanwhile, on the top lane here, teleport in to defend this tower. Panda blinks out. Yeah, again, they're forcing back some TPs. DK showing some signs of life. They defend the bot tower. They force a TP back up top, and IG wastes, well, I don't want to say they were wasting time, but they're losing a little bit more ground. Now, the Roshan's going to be back in a couple of minutes. We might see a fight here, but more likely, I think we're going to see DK just going to concede that Rosh for free. Like, you can have it. We just want to push out every single lane.
Look at Burning Go. Forceps and Ghost Scepter. He's barely behind the Panda. Uh-oh, he might get caught out now, though. In comes Faith. Gale is going to hit the rocket as well. Faith gets fogged. There's the ultimate for Venomancer, but look at the damage by Ferrari. Faith might take a fall. No setback to base by Chen. RXCK running from YYF. Looks like he should live. Burning forces TP out, but of course this is a Tinker. It's not really a big loss. He'll be back in the fight soon. But man, Burning is, as well as Prophet, these two are finding the farm, and very impressive. Even the Broodmother. This is DK for you, Lumi. They know how to farm, even when they're just... this is such a horrible position. A lot of teams will consider it unwinnable. Or if not unwinnable, they'd feel kind of lost. DK are really making the best of a bad situation.
Yeah, and they're actually concentrating a lot of farm on their pair carries. The people that are getting ganked is Zippo, which, I mean, sure, gank him all the hell you want, but for the most part, Broodmother is getting a lot of farm. But here's the issue here. We're going to see IG 430 going to pick up the Aegis. Do you want to make a go here? Again, we were asking ourselves, why isn't IG going? To be honest, it's really hard to push up that hill. There's multiple layers of margin machine, the poisons, the wards. It's just 101 things that you have to go up against. And that's not even counting the Broodmother as well as the Prophet, who's either threatening to push your tech into your towers now, or coming into back to defend. It's actually a lot harder than you imagine for DK or for IG pushing it up.
Right. I'm with you there. And, well, speaking of stalling the game, you've been talking a lot about Mark, so have I, but here we go, Aghanims for Prophet, another great item to try and stall this. I look at the creeps, they're actually top lane pushing past the river, well past in fact, mid lane coming in, but bottom lane is not really as pushed in as IG would like, and here we go, the pressure forces the TPs back. DK are, I mean, they're really doing a great job of slowing this push down, and only 3 heroes bottom, no Templar. They can't do this without 5. Long DD goes for the TP out. He escapes, more time being wasted, and IG, the frustration has to be starting to set in here. With such a huge gold lead to not have Rax, or at least a tier 3 down at this point, it feels like DK are the ones in control right now.
Right, I feel at some point earlier in the game they should have said it, sure, you could have our tier 1, we'll give it to you, but we're going to push your racks. You take the pick. You want a tier 1 or you want to defend? That's a choice that IG should have forced DK to make, at least from the observer point of view. Perhaps they're sensing something that we don't see yet right now on the map. But what we're seeing right now is, despite IG having the quote-unquote stronger heroes, they can't breach that high ground. They're trying to protect the tower. I mean, Dota 2 stands for Defense of the Ancient, too. And not really hero killing too, so...
Not killing of the heroes too, not map control too. It is Defense of the Ancient too.
Well, sometimes it's map control too, I feel like.
Right. Well, it's great to have that map control, but you gotta turn it into something bigger. The one thing I will say for IG, they have a very scary team fight. Chen, Panda, Enigma, and we haven't seen it yet. So if they ever find it, I just don't know for DK if they can take it. They have to stall and stall, and maybe at some point if you're IG, you just say, screw it, man. We're 5-manning bottom. You can have our tier 2, you can do some damage to our tier 3, but we're gonna claim Rex. And it looks like they may be at that point now. We'll see if they have better luck this time, but here comes the spam from Burning. Oh boy, this is so obnoxious. This is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man.
How do you push against this? It's kind of tough. They're just going to weather the storm, charge up the hill. It's going to force out the glyph, the trap, giving sight on the back. And do we see the TP so far? Bruma destroys the tier 2, and I think we're going to have TP any moments now. There's a TP back here. No, that's just a tanker. No, they're going to say, we're going to 3-man defend this. What balls play?
Oh, wow. It's hard to say. There's the mech, and Tinker was not able to get a couple marks on. Blink in by YYF, then runs away. Tried to maybe bait some spells out. No ult used. Now they're just going to muscle down the rack, so they're going to get it. Oh, the trade not happy in time for DK. And, well, IG get what they came for. They got the racks, and immediately the TPs go back. Ferrari comes in. Once RTK should not find him here. No detection. RTK runs back in, though. That might be trouble. Oh, the splash damage! He gets him with the splash! Oh, my goodness! Saw Ferrari out of his mind right now. And that was not luck. That was completely him trying to slam down the Broodmother there. What play by him. Maybe a little bit of luck. Maybe a little bit of luck. But some great individual play. Oh, my goodness.
Wow. I mean, I don't care what you call it, but that was just insane play. And of course, strategically, that means Brood is dead for 30 seconds. No more pressure, and you don't have to deal with that pesky little spiraling push. You can actually work on the L lane. With the creep equilibrium going on bot, you can focus on mid and top, and only there. And I think our IHG right now full in control with that Rax being claimed up. Even Chen with the 4-staff, YYF, Necro 3 completed almost very soon. He has a gem, he's not afraid of death. And Ventral Spirit, any item being added to her, no, just Urns and Dust. Max Aura, want to point that out instead of Tier. Really want to just get the plus damage going. Of course, you know, IG 430, so much gold in her bank. And now here it comes, push on the mid lane.
Well, I was about to say, I think DK can deal with being 1 Rax down, but if they go down 2 Rax, even with their split push, even with their global options, well, they're not going to have those global options because they won't really be able to leave their base. The creeps will be constantly pressuring it. So for IG, they want to force it right now. Maybe try and get a pick off. I think that's what IG is going for. They're not going to commit to this just yet. Panda ult fully down. Enigma Black Hole has not been used this game, by the way. I don't think Joe has used it once. Maybe I missed one. But yeah, I don't think he's used it. And well, this just shows you that Enigma is not really picked for his Black Hole. by most teams. It's a nice thing to have. Necro 3 up on him, as well as the Hood of Defiant, getting close to that pipe. YYF as well, he's been going for Necrobook all game. Level 2 on him, about to be 3, and this Mass Necrobook might be power overwhelming here for IG Lumi as they look to go high ground. It's the final stand for DK. Can they make this one work? We're about to find out.
Poison stacks, the wards, the marching machines, but they are being completely ignored. And I think IG, I mean, what we saw last time is they are not afraid to use a Panda split just for a Rax. I mean, if they are not going to take the fight, you take the fight to their tower. Tower is going to go down. And so far they're backing off, but they could come back anytime. Anytime.
Well, Long DD is just getting whatever the hell he can to keep these lanes pushed out. Going for what looks to be a Maelstrom next. And I mean, it gives you some damage as well, but DK have a lot of damage. This is just to allow them to clear waves, try and get the creep equilibrium back in their favor. The one other thing I want to point out about the Mass Necrobooks is Burning has to sit in Fountain after dropping a few March Machines, or he'll just die to the pure damage from those melee minions. So it kind of limits his ability to spam here. He can't do it quite as much as he would like.
Here we go, the push resumes. Hive with a high ground blink in from Panda. He pops his O, and the focus on the Rax is no more chasing. Cyclones the Tinker in the air. Venomancer dies, he buys back. Not sure how much that means. Rax number 1 goes down. RTK, BKB, that's a black hole. Look at how quickly Brood melts to the melt. Burning's gonna go down as well. Zippo, short after, they're gonna focus him down. With 2 Raxes now, I'm not sure whether DK will have a chance, especially with Ferrari on the front lines. He's gonna go down, but with the Aegis Immortal, no big deal. He's probably gonna blink out just fine.
Oh, Super. I don't know about this, Super. I think you're in a lot of trouble. Ghost Scepter used by Burning. There's your laser, and look at the march. But IG got what they came for. They get 2 sets of racks. Roshan up in about 5 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes. If they want to wait for that, they can. They could honestly heal up and maybe look to push again. Maybe they'll wait for the Black Hole Panda ult, but at this point, DK was a valiant effort, but they are now in a very, very difficult position.
Again, remember what we said, or what I was saying, 10 minutes ago. Why aren't they pushing? Why aren't they pushing? I guess it's all calculated. When they push, they make sure they get the racks, and not, half-assed in any case. Yeah, IG with 2 push, 2 lanes of racks down, and now in full dominating control of this game.
You know, I'm really glad you mentioned that, because we saw that in game 1. IG really forced the issue. 3 here. It wasn't quite as much of a commitment to push, but
right, they were going up high ground, right?
Right, at like 8 minutes in at the bottom lane, and a couple of bad fights there. That's what let Burning get out of control. He got the, if you recall, he got the double kill after a buyback, and from there it felt like it was all DK all the way. So IG clearly learning from that mistake and just playing things a bit more, not cautiously but patiently, I would say, and it seems to be working.
Yep, the Patience 430 adds a dataless to his inventory.
Oh boy.
So just on the pair of right clicks, right? We're sitting at around 280-ish. That's not counting the minus armor from the mill as well as Desolator, not counting it from refraction, definitely not counting it from his crits. So we're seeing a lot more damage than the number just showed.
Don't forget about Terror. They can even go for Medallion, but I feel like it's overkill and they don't have one yet. Pipe, Mech, they're going to go high ground again. Necro 3 already used. The March Machine's doing what it can. Gale onto Joe, are they really going to dive him? BKB even used. Black Hole is down. This could be a big pick if they can find it. Will they, though? Send back to base. Sprout onto Chuan. Chong may be the lone casualty of war. IG should be okay with that. And well, Lumi, they go for the push, but they don't have their 2 big damage dealers. They don't have YYF. They don't have Ferrari. And they lose a hero. The Chen goes down. So DK,
yeah, that was kind of a... I'm not sure what that was about. 430 was, and the Panda was going for a top gank or some sort. And despite of that, the entire team decides to go siege the high ground. DK will definitely take that fight 3v5 with their hill backing them up, and gives himself a precious, a couple of 20-30 seconds defend and go for